Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So today we're going to be looking at what Filipinas look for in a partner.
That was interesting.
Yeah. It should be really, really fascinating. We've got this article called Attracting Filipinas: Essential Tips for Your Dating Profile. And it's specifically aimed at expats.
Okay.
So if you're out there and you're maybe thinking about dating in the Philippines, this is the deep dive for you.
Definitely. You know, it's amazing how this article really kind of like flips the script on all the usual dating advice you hear.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it really dives deep into what actually creates a meaningful connection with Filipinas.
I noticed that too when I was reading through it. And the thing that kind of jumped out at me first was how important first impressions are, but not necessarily in the way that you might think. Like, it's not about having a fancy car or a six-pack or anything like that.
Right.
It's more about projecting certain qualities through your photos.
Yeah, the article suggests that Filipinos are really drawn to images that project kindness, stability, and, would you believe, good grooming.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's more about like inner qualities rather than superficial appearances?
Exactly. It's about showcasing your character more than just your looks.
Interesting. So what kind of pictures actually work then?
Well, the article gives a few specific examples. Pictures of men in office attire or volunteering, spending time with family. Those tend to do really well. Clean shaven is another one they mentioned.
So it's more about like showing that you're dependable and you have good character rather than trying to look like a model.
Yeah, you got it. And it makes sense when you think about the cultural context, right? Family is super important in Filipino culture, and they really value long-term relationships.
So it's almost like those pictures are kind of like a visual shorthand for, hey, I'm future husband material.
Yeah, you could say that. And this whole emphasis on genuineness and character goes beyond just the profile picture. The article really stresses the importance of showcasing a kind heart.
Okay, so let's break that down a bit. What does that actually look like in a dating profile?
Well, it's about highlighting your hobbies and interests, things that show you're a caring and dependable person. The author even shared this funny anecdote about how he got way more messages from Western women when he posted shirtless gym photos. But that didn't work at all with Filipinas.
Oh, wow. That's a pretty big difference.
It is.
What do you think explains that?
I think one factor could be a personality trait called agreeableness.
Okay.
Filipinas consistently score high in this trait. It's basically about being compassionate, cooperative, and valuing harmony.
So that's kind of different from the very individualistic, like, go-getter attitude we often associate with Western cultures.
Yeah, definitely a cultural difference there. And it suggests that Filipinas might be more drawn to partners who demonstrate those same traits. You know, kindness, empathy, people who prioritize building strong relationships.
So less bad boy and more good guy, it sounds like.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Show your genuine caring side. It makes sense when you consider someone's looking for a stable long-term partner.
Right. Makes sense.
And speaking of stability and genuineness, the article also has some strong advice about honesty and authenticity.
Oh.
Specifically, it cautions against boasting about wealth or possessions.
You'd think that would be attractive to anyone, right?
You would think so.
Yeah.
But the article argues that it can actually backfire and attract the wrong kind of attention.
Oh, okay.
They actually warn about predatory Filipinas who might see expats as an easy target for financial gain.
Wow. That's something to be aware of, for sure.
Yeah, it is. And it's a good reminder that those kinds of dynamics can exist in any dating scene, regardless of culture.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. It highlights the importance of being discerning and focusing on building a genuine connection.
Yeah.
You know, based on shared values and interests, rather than trying to impress with, like, material wealth.
It makes you think about what you're really looking for in a partner, right? Do you want someone who's attracted to you or to what you have?
That's a great question to ask yourself.
Yeah.
And this emphasis on respect and genuine connection really extends to communication as well.
Okay.
The article very strongly cautions against asking for nude photos.
Right. Yeah.
Emphasizing the cultural sensitivities and potential consequences for Filipinos.
Yeah, I remember reading that part. It was talking about the author's Filipina friend Eve and how, leaked photos could lead to shame or even like family disownment.
Oh.
Or, being ostracized from the community.
Yeah, that's right. It's a stark reminder of the cultural differences at play.
Yeah.
It's not about being prudish. It's about understanding those boundaries and respecting them.
Yeah.
Recognizing that certain actions can have very real and serious consequences within that cultural context.
It seems like sensitivity and respect are really big themes here, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. And it makes me think about another sensitive topic. The article brings up the prevalence of single mothers in the Philippines.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely a topic that requires a delicate approach. It can be complex for everyone involved.
Absolutely.
What does the article say about that?
Well, it starts by stating that there are approximately 14 million single mothers in the Philippines.
Wow.
And many of them have multiple children.
Okay.
It's a really significant statistic that reflects, the socioeconomic realities that a lot of women face in the country.
It is. It's a reality that we need to acknowledge. But it's important to avoid generalizations and really approach this topic with sensitivity and empathy.
For sure.
What else does the article say?
It points out that some Filipinas may not mention their children until later in the relationship. They might not disclose that right away.
Why is that?
Well, often their children are being cared for by extended family while the mother's working in a city to support them.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Given the situation.
So it's not necessarily about being dishonest.
Mm-hmm.
It's more about the circumstances and the importance of, open and honest communication as that relationship develops.
Right. Transparency is key in any relationship to avoid, hurt feelings or misunderstandings later on.
Definitely. So we've covered a lot of ground, haven't we? From first impressions to navigating these sensitive topics.
Yeah, we have.
Like cultural boundaries and family dynamics.
We've just scratched the surface.
We have. There's a lot more to unpack here.
This article goes on to delve into specific dating sites and even strategies for successful communication.
Oh, definitely. We should explore those further.
Yeah. That sounds like a great place to pick up in part 2 of this deep dive. So stay tuned, everyone, because we'll be right back with more insights into the world of attracting Filipinas. Welcome back to our deep dive, everyone. Before the break, we were talking about the importance of honesty and respect, especially when navigating cultural differences.
Yeah, and it's not just about avoiding those pitfalls. It's about actually, showcasing the qualities that Filipinos really find attractive.
Right. So what are those qualities? I mean, we talked about kindness and dependability. What else is there?
Well, remember those specific examples the article gave about photos that really resonate with Filipinas? Like wearing office attire, looking well-groomed, or being involved in activities that show a caring nature.
Yeah, those examples really stuck with me. It's almost like they're like a visual representation of stability and good character.
Exactly. And it ties back to that cultural emphasis on family and long-term relationships. Filipinos are often looking for partners who'll be supportive and committed, not just to them, but, potentially to a future family as well.
It makes you realize that a dating profile isn't just about getting a date. It's about, presenting yourself as someone who could be a good partner for the long haul.
Yeah. That's a great way to put it. And this whole focus on long-term compatibility extends to how you communicate as well. The article emphasizes the importance of respectful and thoughtful language.
Right. No slang or, overly casual language.
Right.
And definitely no asking for nude photos.
Exactly. It's about showing that you understand and respect Filipino culture and values.
Yeah.
And this also applies to how you talk about your intentions. The article suggests being upfront about seeking a serious relationship, if that's what you're looking for.
So no playing games or being vague about your goals. It sounds like honesty and transparency are really valued.
Absolutely. And this brings us to another interesting point the article makes about the potential for surprises down the line.
Okay.
Specifically, it addresses the issue of single mothers not disclosing their children until later in the relationship.
This is a tricky topic, but I think it's important to discuss it openly and with sensitivity. What does the article say about why this might happen?
Well, it explains that some Filipinas may delay revealing that they have children because the children are often being cared for by extended family while the mother is working in a city to support them.
That makes sense, given the economic realities that a lot of women face in the Philippines. It's important to approach this with empathy and understanding.
Absolutely. And it reinforces the importance of, those open and honest conversations that we keep coming back to. If someone is not comfortable with the prospect of becoming a step-parent, they need to be upfront about that.
Right.
And conversely, if someone is open to the idea, it's important to approach the situation with sensitivity and a willingness to learn.
It sounds like communication is key in any relationship, but it's especially vital when you're navigating cultural differences and potentially complex family dynamics.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's interesting how this article kind of weaves together this practical dating advice with insights into Filipino culture and values.
Hmm.
It's not just about crafting the perfect profile. It's about understanding those deeper motivations and expectations at play.
I think that's what makes this deep dive so fascinating. We're not just getting like surface level tips. We're really gaining like a deeper understanding of what makes Filipinas tick.
Exactly. And I think that understanding is crucial for anyone hoping to build a genuine and meaningful connection with a Filipina. It's about approaching that relationship with respect, sensitivity, and a willingness to learn.
Well said. Speaking of learning, it seems like this article has even more to offer in terms of specific dating sites and strategies for successful communication. Or are those things that we can dive into?
Oh, absolutely. I think those topics deserve their own deep dive. But before we move on, I'm curious what has stood out to you most from our discussion so far.
What's really resonated with me is how much emphasis is placed on genuine connection and shared values. It's refreshing, honestly, compared to the kind of superficiality that often surrounds modern dating.
I agree. It's almost like a return to a more traditional approach to courtship,
Yeah.
where character and compatibility are really paramount.
Exactly. And I think that's a valuable lesson regardless of who you're trying to attract. So for our listeners who are intrigued by this topic, we'll be back soon to explore those specific dating sites and communication strategies. In the meantime, why not reflect on what you value most in a partner? It's a question worth pondering regardless of your cultural background or dating preferences.
All right, we're back for the final part of our deep dive into attracting Filipinas. We've talked about the importance of authenticity, kindness, and respect. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of actually connecting online. Yeah, the article doesn't just offer general advice. It gets into the specifics of dating platforms and communication strategies.
Perfect, because I'm ready to get tactical. What platforms are we talking about here?
The article specifically mentions Christian Filipina as a popular choice.
That makes sense given everything we've talked about. Filipinas valuing faith, family, and traditional values.
Exactly. It's about finding a platform where people with shared values are already congregating.
Right.
And of course, crafting your profile to speak to those values is key.
So it's not just about being on the right site. It's about tailoring your approach to resonate with the audience you're trying to reach.
Exactly. And when it comes to communication, the article emphasizes respectful and engaging dialogue.
Well, okay.
It suggests starting conversations by asking thoughtful questions about shared interests, hobbies,
So no cheesy pickup lines or generic compliments. It's about showing genuine interest and engaging on a deeper level.
Exactly. Remember, Filipinas tend to value sincerity and authenticity. They want to see that you're genuinely interested in getting to know them as a person.
It's about making a real connection.
Right.
Not just trying to, get a date. And I imagine patience is important too, right?
Oh, absolutely. The article cautions against being overly aggressive or pushy. Rushing things can be a real turnoff, especially when you're navigating those cultural differences.
So no bombarding them with messages or expecting instant replies.
Right.
It's about respecting their time and allowing the relationship to unfold naturally.
Exactly. And I think that's a key takeaway from this whole deep dive. It's not about following a formula or playing games. It's about approaching dating with a sincere desire to connect with someone special.
It's about seeing dating as an opportunity for genuine human connection, not just a numbers game.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what insights or takeaways will you be carrying forward?
What really struck me is how important it is to align your approach with the values and expectations of the person you're trying to connect with. It's about showing genuine interest, respecting their culture, and building a connection based on shared values. It sounds simple, but I think it's easy to lose sight of that in the kind of fast-paced world of online dating.
Yeah, that's a great point, and I think it's something we can all benefit from remembering, no matter our dating goals or preferences.
Absolutely. So, to everyone listening, we hope this deep dive has given you a better understanding of what Filipinas value in a partner. But remember, the most important thing is to approach dating with authenticity, respect, and a genuine desire to connect. If you do that, you'll be well on your way to finding that special someone, no matter where in the world they may be.
Until next time, keep diving deep.